start in 2 minutes. Time check, 2 minutes. We'll start.
30 pa lang ako, 13. Sige, pwede na.
Wow, we are live. Saan ko titingnan?
Sa Facebook.
PitQ, sa PitQ.
Kanino?
Sa public page ng PitQ.
PitQ, Facebook, live.
Yes.
Wow,
Major delay, but it's a good. So greetings from Qatar.
PitQ.
Around 4 seconds delay.
Pa pala ako member ng PitQ nyo. Join group. Alright. Yun na. Rolling na kayo. Like.
Jay, good to go. We can start, Jay.
Good to go? Okay, we'll start. Should see this picture, share them, share. Okay, well, I guess we'll start.
Okay.
I'm just posing for a while. Three, two, one. So, a pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to Filipino International Triathlete Club Webinar Series Episode 2. This webinar series organized or initiated by Fit Qatar Club Chapter has started organizing a series of 3 triathlon webinars which aims to educate and refresh the minds of its triathlon community, its members, while adapting and I believe still adjusting on the current crisis caused by the COVID-19. On behalf of the FIT Webinar Committee, Coach Bernard Pingol, Coach Saul Sibayan, unfortunately were not here with us, Press Walks Edward Sampelo, and yours truly, Coach Jay Canaria. Welcome all listeners and viewers all over the world. Thank you. Okay, so joining me as my partner, as host and commentator as well, I would like to introduce to you one guy, good friend of mine. I was happy to race with him for several times in multiple races. He is a multiple 70.3 finisher, challenge route finisher, a mountaineer, ultramarathoner, adventurer, our incumbent President Edward Walks Sampelo. Press Walks, floor is yours.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Magandang gabi sa Pilipinas at sa all over the world. So, thank you for attending our second episode of the Fit TRITALK. So, this TRITALKs aim to give some education to the Fit communities during this COVID-19 pandemic. So, as we know, the Fit was organized in Dubai, so way back in 2013. So just recent this year, we had celebrated the 7th anniversary of the Fit Global. So, and Fit Qatar was established a year after. So, and the aim of this, by the way, the aim of this webinar was to give education to the Fit communities and also all our participants. By the way, my co-host for today was a certified educator and instructor. He's also a certified Ironman coach and Kona qualifier and a finisher. He's also an Ironman 70.3 World Championship qualifier and finisher. He's our former president of the Fit Qatar. So would like to introduce to you Jaynald Canaria.
Thank you very much. Press walk. So let's move on. And well, I guess I'm very happy and very eager to introduce our three speakers already. So
All right.
in this episode 2, strength and conditioning for exercise for triathletes, we have invited three very enthusiastic, knowledgeable, experienced, and hands-on strength and conditioning exercises and speakers. So in this episode, I'm sure they will be answering so many statements or so many queries, as there are so many myths and misconceptions with regard to strength and conditioning for triathletes. For example, many athletes are asking, I don't need strength conditioning. All I need is endurance endurance. Does it mean if I'm big and strong, does it mean I'm a strong triathlete? Right? So these are some of the questions that our speakers will be answering today and sharing the experience and expertise. So again, there are three topics to be discussed. The first topic will be strength training periodization specific for triathlon. The second topic or speaker will discuss strength exercise for specific groups. Rather, this is the third group for female and master's age group. And the other topic is different strength and conditioning exercises for specific muscle groups. As we go along, we'll introduce to you the speaker in each topic. Okay, let me introduce to you our first speaker and our first coach. So he's an ITU triathlon coach. He's a licensed professional teacher, sports trainer, level 3 at Qatar Police Sports Association, accredited rehab trainer, TRX Group Suspension and Functional Training Certified Coach. Third placer, age group category, Extella Albay, off-road, triathlon in 2015, finisher of 3 Ironman 70.3, and he has been a team manager and strength conditioning coach of Sante Barley Tri Team for 3 years. Okay, 3 years Tri Team of the Year awards of SBR Philippines Award and Tri United Series. Ladies, gentlemen, athletes, coaches, please welcome Coach Nomer Alferos. Coach, microphone is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well in this pandemic season. Okay. So first, I would like to thank President Walks, Coach Jaynald, and Coach Bernard for inviting me here to talk to you fitmates all over the world. I hope everyone is coping well despite of this pandemic we are having right now. So let's just take this as an opportunity to learn more and divert our energy into positive ideas. So my topic for today will be Triathletes Guide to Strength Training Periodization. I will give you a background on strength annual planning. So why strength training? Because it is one of the most underutilized performance training in any sport, especially in long endurance sport like triathlon. So these are some of the benefits of integrating strength program in our sport. So number one, recruit greater number of motor units. So in our sport, we have swim, bike, and running. It's all endurance sports or muscle. We're gonna need muscle endurance long, specifically on our legs or on our shoulders. So we need to recruit greater number of motor units to cope up with the resistance of swimming, biking, and running. And then number two, prevent muscular atrophy, prevent muscle imbalances, and prevent overuse injuries. In short, strength training can make you more efficient swimmer, biker, and runner than ever before. But how can we maximize those benefits? So let's start by making a training plan. So our objectives, at the end of this session, you will be able to determine the different strength training phases that will suit each triathlon training plan. Identify our strength training goals in each training phases. Number 3, establish your annual training plan. Divide and plot your triathlon season into training periods. I will make a specific main target competition for this, which is the Ironman 70.3 Dubai, will be our A race or main race competition. So, as you can see on the screen, the triathlon periodization table. We all familiar with this on the left side of the table or on the screen. So triathlon training phases, we have the preparation, the base, build, peak, and then the race phase. On the right side, we have the strength training phases, which is the there are 5 strength training phases actually. So we have the anatomical adaptation. Its counterpart to training phases will be the preparation. So in anatomical adaptation, it will be the general body conditioning. So you have to prepare first your body for the training load for the next phase, which is the base or the maximum strength phase. And then next will be the conversion to muscle endurance long, which is you're going to convert the muscle into endurance from the maximum strength phase. And then lastly, the maintenance of the muscle endurance long and then the maximum strength, going to the peak of the triathlon training phases. So what are these training phases? Just like in triathlon planning, it is also ladderized program until we reach our long-term goal, which is the main event. It is also progressive and each phase have a specific short-term goals. Now let's see the difference of each strength training phases and their parameters. Okay. As you can see on the screen, on the slide, the strength training parameters on each phase or per phase. So number 1 is the anatomical adaptation. The first phase, which is the preparation of our body to the strength training program. Our training goal here is general body conditioning. So types of exercises that we will choose on anatomical adaptation is the sport-specific exercises, training the major muscle groups, core and circuit training. So those are the types of exercises that you can, I will not go into that specifically on the specific exercise because we have 2 more guest speakers today that will go on to that specific. Okay. Number of weeks it will last, the anatomical adaptation on your training plan, it will be 4 to 8 weeks. The number of exercises is 8 to 12 exercises. You can choose 8 to 12 exercises of the major muscle group in your body, which is also sport specific. It should be sport specific of swimming, biking, and running. Okay, training load will be 40% to 60% of 1 RM. For me, the best, for example, you cannot go to the gym now to test your 1 RM and then you're here in the lockdown on your house, on your home. So try to do first as an anatomical adaptation phase, try to do the body weight training. Circuit training for the body weight, like the, you can use, or you can use also the cords, okay, the dumbbells, etc. And then number of sets, 2 to 3 sets per exercise. Repetitions is 15 to 20 reps. And then your rest interval in between reps, in between sets is 1 minute. Or if you're going to do circuit training, you can do it all first for 1 set, and then you have 1 minute or 2 to 1 minute rest interval in between circuit. Okay, number 2, maximum strength. Maximum strength phase is our training goal is recruit more motor units. So you cannot recruit, like for example, we have three different types of muscle fibers. The slow twitch, which is the endurance muscle fiber, and then we have 2 types of fast twitch, which is the type 2A and then the type 2X. The type 2A muscle fiber is a combination of power and endurance muscle fiber. And then the type 2X, it is the explosive muscle fiber. We use it in the power or speed events. Okay. The types of exercises here will be major lifts and sport-specific muscle groups. So usually we are going to test your strength on the major lift, which is the powerlifting lift, the deadlift, bench press, and the squats, so that you can you will know your capacity on those lifts, and then you can recruit those exercises will include the whole body. For example, on the squats, you will not only use the muscle group on your legs. You have to incorporate the whole body during a single execution because you're testing your maximum strength. Okay, number of weeks it will last, it would be 8 to 12 weeks. And then number of exercises, since it's a heavy load, it should be 4 to 6 exercises only per session. And then your training load will be equal or more than your body weight goal. So it doesn't have to lift as heavy as you could in the first day of this phase. Of course, you have to do it gradually. Okay, it depends on your 1 repetition maximum. Okay, sets, it will be 3 to 6 sets. And then repetitions 3 to 6 plus repetitions only. And then we have rest interval for 2 to 4 minutes. Okay, next. Okay, number 3, conversion to muscle endurance long. So on the next phase, this will be the game changer for our for the triathlete or the long distance athletes. Okay, so endurance athletes, because on the last phase, which recruiting more motor units, which is the maximum strength phase, we will convert those muscle fibers into muscle endurance long. Okay, especially the type 2A muscle fibers. Okay, we convert recruited muscles to long endurance, which is the training goal. And then types of exercises will be sport-specific exercises using or mimicking the 3 sports, the swimming, biking, and running. I will give you an example. Like for example, on biking and running, we always use hip extension. So hip extension exercises like squats, leg press, hip thrust, deadlift, those are the exercises that we will do in this phase. Okay, number of weeks, it will last 8 to 12 weeks also. If you have long-term goal, if you have 1-year goal, exercises will be okay, number of exercises will be 4 to 6 exercises only. And then training load it will be light 30% to 40% of 1 RM. Okay, if you're lifting 1 RM on your squats, will be 100 kilo. You will only lift here for 30 kilos. And then the number of sets, 2 to 3 sets. And then the repetition here will be time-based. Since it's muscle endurance long, you will be using time-based. So 4 minutes, you start with 4 minutes on each exercise until you reach the 10 minutes per exercise. So conversion of muscle endurance long. And then you will do 1 to 2 minutes rest interval per circuit or per exercise or per set. Okay, number 4 phase will be maintenance of muscle endurance long and maximum strength. On maintenance phase, this is the peaking phase for the triathlon training period and going to the competition phase. Maintain muscle endurance and maximum strength. Okay, same with muscle endurance long and maximum strength. The type of exercises you will just continue. And then 8 to 12 weeks for the number of weeks. Number of exercises, also 4 to 6 exercises. And then here are the same with the training load. And then sets, same for the last training performance of the maximum strength and then the muscle endurance long. Okay, the compensation phase or the transition, this is the off-season phase, the unloading. So most of the competitive athletes, they're not really stopping or cross-training when it comes to strength training. So they continue their strength training, but they're unloading. So major muscle groups on types of exercises also, they do cross-training on different, like for example, they do yoga, CrossFit, and then number of weeks, not more than 4 weeks. If you're going to do off-season, you should not go beyond 4 weeks. Then 8 to 12 exercises, and then the load. The load here is critical. You only do 50% of 1 repetition maximum because you're recuperating or recovery from the last training season. So sets is 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 repetition, 1 minute per exercise, rest interval.
Coach Nomer,
Okay, coach.
before I will let you proceed, there's just one question here that I would like to ask. Basing
Sure,
on your
sure.
previous slides, can you go back on your previous, anyways, the same. With your on your previous slide, you mentioned that there are 5 phases of strength and conditioning. With in each phase, there are corresponding weeks or time frame. So let me just put you a scenario. For example, one of my athletes, if an athlete will approach you and he will tell you, Coach Nomer, I have 3 months to prepare for my next A race. So you only have 3 months, total of 12 weeks in total. So how will you incorporate strength and conditioning exercises despite that it needs to go in 5 different phases? Thank you very much, Coach.
Actually, in 3 months, we will consider the strength training experience of the athlete. Okay, as a strength and conditioning coach, I will prefer in 3 months if he or she is just starting triathlon, maybe we will just focus on the anatomical adaptation for 3 months. Because it will take time to it will eat more time. For example, for the beginner, he or she is just focusing on the 3 sports already, which is the swim, bike, and run. So if I shorten each training phases into 3 months, it will be a disaster for his first race, for example. So we will focus first on the anatomical adaptation, and for maybe on the last month of the training, we will include a little bit of conversion to muscle endurance long.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, to continue, here's an example of annual training plan. I made an example of training A race, which is the IM 70.3 Dubai training plan. I forgot to put the year. It will be 2021, hopefully. Mawala na yung COVID. Okay. For example, we will be starting our strength training or even the triathlon training program this coming June. Okay, and then our target race will be on last week of February. Okay, so on triathlon training phases, we have the prep. It will last 4 weeks, which is ours in strength training period. We have the anatomical adaptation here. Okay, on the base 1, it will last for 4 weeks on June, and then on the base 1 and base 2, for example, we have 8 weeks. And then its counterpart on the strength will be maximum strength phase. So this is the heavyweight training phase. And then after that, when you're building your endurance, your skills on swim, bike, running, it's the perfect time to convert your muscle into muscle endurance long. So it would last 12 weeks so that you can goal the 10 minutes execution of exercise per exercise in a single set. Okay. During December and January, it will be your maintenance on the strength training. So what will be the last? You just maintain your strength here on this space, and then you're just adjusting on the training load. Okay, for example, you're doing 10 minutes. That will be your last 10 minutes on muscular endurance long. That will be your last duration on executing an exercise. If that's too easy for you, you just add some load or weight on your exercise. Okay, on the peaking, on the triathlon phase, the same, you're just gonna continue the maintenance on strength and conditioning. And then on the last 2 weeks before the A race, there will be no more strength training, because in strength training, in triathlon phases, this will be the race weekend or the race week. You will allot 2 weeks of tapering. Usually the coaches or triathlon coaches are allotting 2 weeks of tapering period. So we don't like to ruin the race week of the athlete. Then after the race, we will have the transition or the compensation or the off season. But if you're planning to do another A races after 3 months, you will not do a off season here. You will just do transition. Okay? You will just go back to the start of strength training. You will just go back to the anatomical adaptation, but with the little weight or lesser weight. Okay, this is an example of a bicycle annual plan. So we have here, for example, two main A races or two competition. So that's what I'm telling you on the last slide, that this transition, it will not be an off season. We will just go back to the anatomical adaptation phase here, and then do the same period again until the next competition. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, this is the, because since in triathlon, the most, for me, one of the phases of strength training program is the conversion to muscular endurance long. Is new to, even in other coaches, it is new term, converting the muscle into endurance long. Okay, you can just screenshot this one, and I will not go specifically on this slide. You can just screenshot and then
Yeah, maybe you can just share, Coach Nomer.
yeah.
Yeah, this is way, yes.
Or you can just email me if you want to.
Yes. That's the best part. That's the best part.
Okay. Okay, success takes time. Be patient, but continually invest in yourself. Training program is only as good as the amount of heart you're putting into it. Okay, that's it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Nomer. Coach Nomer. I know there are so many questions, but I will not. Unfortunately, we will only entertain one question, one last question, as other speakers are waiting. What do you mean by RM, Coach Nomer? One of the participants is asking.
RM is the repetition maximum. Actually, it's one repetition maximum. Okay, in an exercise, for example, you're doing squats, and then too much load, you're putting load on your back, for example, a bar. RM is you can do the execution squat in just single repetition. That's the repetition maximum.
The maximum load. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Coach Nomer. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.